Hey guys, I know some of you really hate this stuff, but I just decided I'm going to make a little quick video to share with you some of my experiences throughout life with Nazis and the whole Nazi concept and what have you, just because it's becoming an issue. So I want you to understand my background a little bit more so that you can see where I'm coming from. But of course, when we grew up, post-war, they had a lot of war movies, and Panzer tanks looked really cool, and the German uniforms looked really cool. And I know when we were having to learn languages and people would learn French, I'd want to learn German. It's like Achtung, it was cool. Kids are like that. It's kind of like thinking the CIA is cool. But the point is that when I was in the optics industry, the optics industry is, there's a lot of Germans in it, because that's where a lot of it came from, the old world in Europe. A lot of the master polishers and opticians were, of course, Germans, Europeans. The first family was actually Polish, but as you know, that's very close to Germany. And one of the guys there was a pretty hardcore Nazi type. But anyway, I worked right across from him all day for quite a while, so I heard it all, and that wasn't the only time. When I worked for KMS, that's a company that makes laser fusion, kind of like Sandia. Anyway, there was a Nazi guy there, and this guy was Hitler Youth, and he got shot in the leg on a cart behind a horse by an American pilot, when they're supposed to be at the end of the war or whatever, towards the end of the war, he got shot, so he held a grudge. But I'm not suggesting that I adopted any of this stuff. But the thing is I worked with this guy day in and day out. I heard it all, he's the guy that introduced me to Heckler and Koch, if that tells you anything, and the Model 91, but or the G3, as you may know it. Anyway, the point is that it's always been sort of attractive, certainly more attractive than the whole Zionist thing. But at the same time, there's a very negative anti-human thing. There's also some very dark magic involved. There's a little bit of everything, It's hard to say there's good Nazis, bad Nazis. But working with the NSA, which I did, and the CIA, which I did, I had to deal with all this stuff and that whole issue and be actually, all right, this is how it worked. Up until a certain point, I thought this was a big Jewish conspiracy, protocols of the Elders of Zion and all that. And it wasn't until I presented this protocols where they talk about the undergrounds being blown up and all that, chapter 9, whatever the hell it is, to a Getty person, who wasn't even a Getty person, he was a caver, I call them, and he freaked out and started spilling his guts and telling me all about the Nazi stuff. And they always do this, they point the finger at the other side. And he said, look, we're not all Jews here, there's Nazis. We're half Nazi. And I had no clue that such a thing even existed. And it took a whole year for me to digest that and get used to the idea that half of our country was run by Nazis and the other half was run by Zionists, and that they're working side by side like two sides of one coin. And that's how you guys get played. So when I say Nazi this, Nazi that, you guys got to understand it's just the nature of the power structure that's been in place since, we lost the war. Oh, you didn't hear about that? Yeah, it took place in Antarctica. We were fighting the Nazis in Antarctica. Operation High Jump, look it up. We lost that one. That's where the Nazis pulled out their UFOs and stuff. We kind of had to make a deal. We gave them half the country, the western half, and the Getty's their base. It's their big base, and their NSA. Yes, there's NSA on both sides of the country, just like there's CIA on both sides of the country. This is not a football game, guys. This is very incestuous and complex. You got to reject both teams. So watch the flag that you fly, okay? That's the bottom line, okay? Just because one side looks a little more romantic doesn't mean you should swallow it, okay? All right, people, that's all. I'm not telling you to reject either side. I'm just telling you, well, I guess you should reject both sides, but mainly just don't be drawn into this east-west, north-south, us-them, white-black bullshit polarity crap, okay? Thanks. God bless you.